Hello and welcome to this yoga sequence, which will help open up and prepare your body for Hanumanasana, also known as the splits. If you have not yet achieved your splits, it could be helpful to have a couple blocks and maybe even a bolster to help with some extra support until we get there. All right, so let's get started. We begin on all fours. Just a quick warm up for the body. Spread the fingers wide, press the tops of the feet down into the floor. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the chin, look up, tailbone lifts. And exhale, curl and round the spine. Inhale and exhale. We'll do a few more rounds just like this. Feeling into the spine, into the shoulders. Last one here. On your next exhale, tuck the toes, walk the hands just a little bit forward, and then go ahead and lift up the hips up toward the ceiling. Pedal the knees out, stretching into the backs of the legs. Fingers still spread wide, pressing down into the mat and away from you. Now here you can have bent knees, you can even have the heels off the floor, but what you want to do is bring the belly towards the tops of the thighs and then lift the hips up, up, up toward the ceiling. Stay here. At this point, if you can straighten the legs, you can begin to lower the heels to the floor, but notice that my back does not move. So if you find the back rounding, then we want to keep the knees bent and keep the spine extending nice and long. From here, we're going to lift up the right leg up toward the ceiling. Nice, ground down through your left heel and reach up through your right toes. Bring them back down. Take it on the other side. Ground down through the right foot to right heel if you can, and then reach the left leg up and over. Arms still active. Press both feet away, away, away from each other. Stretch, stretch deeper. And bring it back down. We do one more time on each side. Press into the left leg, press into the hands. Long spine, long legs, and then press the feet away from each other. And bring it back down. Take it on the other side. Left leg lifts. And bring it back down. From here, we step the right foot forward. You can always come up onto a couple blocks. You can take them on the highest, you can take them on the lowest. You want to lift the chest and lower the hips. So keeping the hands pressing down into the blocks or the floor, lift the chest up and allow the hips to soften. We're going to hold here for about 30 seconds. Keep pressing into the blocks or the floor. Lift the chest, shoulders back, hips drop. Soften the hips. Relax. Allow the breath to be normal. Slow down the exhale. And then keeping the hands on the blocks, we're going to shift the hips back. Roll onto your right heel and lift the chest, lengthen. So we're bringing the hips back, straightening up the right foot. Pull the toes back towards you, and you should feel that stretch coming even more intense. Again, we hold here. Where you feel the stretch, take the awareness of your breath there. Long spine. And your right leg doesn't have to be straight, but press into the right heel and pull the right toes back towards you. And then bending into the right knee. Back into your low lunge. Step your right leg back. We're just going to take a little plank here. Maybe do a chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stepping the left foot forward this time. Right knee to the floor. Find which position you like your blocks to be on. Inhale, lift the chest, shoulders draw down and back. Soften the hips. Allow the hips to draw down and forward, and the chest lifts up and back. Getting a really nice stretch into the front of your right hip flexor, thigh. Soften. Steady breath. And now we come into a half split. Shift the hips back. We're going to roll onto the left heel. Pulling the left toes back behind. Press the front heel into the floor. Press your hands into the blocks. Lift the chest, shoulders back. Create length in the spine. Create length in the back of your left leg. Remember, the left leg doesn't have to be straight. You can have a little bend, but press the heel into the floor. Notice that when you press the heel into the floor, you're going to feel it a little bit in your hamstrings. This is good. Draw the left toes back. Begin to bend into the left knee. Step your left foot back. Take a little vinyasa if you're feeling strong. Inhale. And exhale. Bring the knees to the floor. We're just going to set the blocks off to the side. Coming back into your downward facing dog. Hips lift up behind you. Go ahead and lift the right leg up and back. And then bend the knee. Bring it forward. We come into pigeon pose. So the right knee is near the right hand. Now while we're here, instead of folding down, I want you to press firmly into your front foot, front thigh, and your back foot, and lift up. So feel that engagement in the legs. And then release down. We're going to do that a few more times. Press down into your front leg and back leg. Hips lift up off of the floor. Engage. It's almost like you're trying to pull your two legs back in towards the center. Pull, 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 pull. And then release. Release. One more time. On an inhale, lift up. Engage legs, engage legs. Press the back leg as hard as you can into the floor. Press the front leg as hard as you can into the floor. And release. We're going to walk it all the way down now. And rest. Belly towards the floor. You can rest the head all the way down to the floor or stay supported on your forearms. Softening the hips. And now walk your way back up. We're going to take it on to the other side. So step your right leg back, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts up. And then bring that knee forward next to your left hand. Take a few moments to set yourself up, get comfortable. And then remember, we're going to press into the front leg and the back leg and lift up. Lift up as high as you can. So your legs are super active, super engaged. And then release, 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 release. And then inhale again, lift up, super engaged, super active. And I might be doing it a little more exaggerated just so you can see. You might not be moving so much, that's okay. Maybe a few millimeters, but what we're looking for is active legs. Engage those muscles, engage the muscles. If they're feeling tired, good, that's a good thing. And release. We'll walk the hands down forward, belly towards the floor. Take a few breaths. If your breath is sped up, allow it to return to normal. Relax the hips, no engagement of the muscles in the legs. Release everything. And we're slowly going to come back up onto your hands. I'm just going to swing my back leg forward. From here, we'll come into a forward fold, Paschimottanasana. So we're going to move the flesh of the butt cheeks away so you can feel yourself sitting on the sit bones. Again, we want the toes pulling in towards the body and press the backs of the legs into the floor. So the legs are engaged. Your heels might even come off the floor. So active legs. And release. Hold your big toes with the index and middle finger. Inhale, lift and lengthen up. Feel free to stay here. And we're thinking about bringing the belly towards the tops of the thighs. Doesn't matter about getting your head down. If you have a little more space to lower, you can bend the elbows. Bring belly to thigh, belly to thigh, belly to thigh. And pause however far you go, that's fine. Inhale back up, find length. Exhale, bend the elbows, spine stays straight. Belly comes toward the thigh. Chest comes toward the knee. Chin comes toward the shin. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Once more. Keep that spine straight. Keep the backs of the legs active. And then bend the elbows. Belly to the thigh. Chest to the knees. Chin to the shin. Breathe, breathe. Steady breath. And inhale, release. Release the hands. We're going to come now into a wide leg forward fold. So you can move to face the long end of your mat. Extend the feet out as wide as you can. You want to keep the feet flexed. You want to keep the feet flexed and again, toes pulling in towards you. If you like, you can take a block or two or a cushion. We're just going to come down and rest in a forward fold here. We're going to hold here for maybe about a minute or so. Legs are slightly engaged, backs of the legs pressing into the floor, toes coming towards you, but see if you can soften and relax the hips. See if as much as possible, if you can keep lengthening the spine, even though we are folding forward. Think about bringing the belly towards the floor. It doesn't matter so much how low the head goes. We want to get that tilt in the hips. So keeping the spine relatively straight and then folding forward. And gently release. Come on out. We're going to move down onto our backs now. And you can move your blocks off to the side. Take a few moments just to connect the spine to the floor. Notice how the legs and the hips are feeling. We've been doing a lot of stretches. We're going to take the right ankle and place it on top of the left thigh. And then reach up and hold the back of the left leg or the front of the left shin. Just a real nice, easy, gentle stretch here. Notice your breath. Can you allow the exhale to become a little bit longer? Can you relax into the stretch? And release. Left leg to the floor, the right leg to the floor. And then we take the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Lift the right foot and hold on to the back of the right leg or maybe the front of the shin. Noticing where you feel the stretch. And release. Right leg to the floor, left leg to the floor. We're going to do a bit of a hamstring stretch now. So with your peace fingers, we're going to hold on to the big toe and begin to just press the heel out away from you. You can extend the left leg to the floor. You can also keep it bent, foot on the floor if that's helpful. You want to keep drawing the right shoulder to the floor so you're not like lifting up off of the floor, but your back, everything connected to the floor. And then very gently, you're going to begin to bring the right toes over your head. And it may not move very much, that's okay. Keep pressing the heel upward. You don't have to feel the most intense stretch for the stretch to be working and opening up the muscles. You also have an option here to use a strap or hold anywhere on that leg that you can reach, the ankle, the back of the shin, or the back of the thigh. But we want to just keep reaching the toes over the head and press the heel up toward the ceiling. And release. We'll take it on the other side. Hold on to the big toe with the peace fingers. Hips ground down into the floor. The whole spine on the floor, back of the head on the floor. See how you feel. You want to keep the leg bent or extended. Press the heel up toward the ceiling and draw the toes over the head. So you're going to feel the stretch in the backs of the legs, but the rest of the body is relatively relaxed. Your breath should be easy and natural. And if you can't reach the toe, you can hold on to the ankle, the shin, or even the thigh, but we want to keep pressing the heel up and the toes down over the head. Breathe into where you feel the stretch. Create space and expansion in the back of the leg as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, move into that space, maybe going a little bit deeper if your body is ready. And release. Extend the legs out, maybe shake them out. If you need to, we'll take a few moments here, just allowing the body to relax and to become still. And then bend the knees, roll over to one side, gently push yourself up. All right, now we're actually ready to practice the splits, but I do want to mention something before we go into the next part of this video. This sequence and these stretches are great for opening up the body and preparing for your splits. However, if you do not have your splits yet, simply doing these stretches or any stretches that somebody tells you are good for the splits is not going to get you to where you want to go. A lot of people may not agree with me, but if you're like me, I'm not naturally flexible. I have been practicing yoga for over 10 years. About the farthest that I could ever go in my split on a good day after lots of yoga was maybe about here, okay? I used support and yeah, this is about as far as I could go. And yeah, maybe this is a lot farther for a lot of other people, but It was one of those exercises that I just said, you know what? My body's not built for a split. It might be one of those poses that I can never do in my life. And for years, I never even attempted it. Until one day, surprisingly, I did my first split at the age of 42. Just 4 months after having a serious knee injury. And if you want to hear the story of how I discovered my splits, you can check out the video over here and I'll link it below as well. We won't get into that today, but I will tell you, please do not overstretch. Please. Stretching itself for most people, or maybe people like me who are not naturally flexible, but even if you are naturally flexible or hypermobile, what I have to say might even be more important for you. You have to strengthen. You have to strengthen. And the best way to do that is in the gym with some real weights. Strengthening the muscles like the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, these are really big muscles. And these are really hard to strengthen without added weights. Or you're gonna be having to put a lot more time and a lot more effort than is actually necessary. So just like this practice, targeted stretching the glutes, the hamstrings, the hip flexors, what you need to do is strength train these targeted muscle areas as well. And if you're weak in all of them, strengthen all of them. If you might just have weak hamstrings, focus on strengthening your hamstrings. And I guarantee you will get your splits. How do I know? Because this is exactly what happened to me. Anyway, enough talking. Let's now get into our splits. I think that we should move the mat away and get some socks on. So get some socks, move your mat to the side, and I'll see you in a few. So what I've done here is I've folded my mat in half so we can have a little bit of padding for the knee. And then one leg is going to be outside of the mat. And then we're just gonna begin to slide this forward. We'll come into like a low lunge, like how we did before. This might be a nice time to take a little support and just place it right underneath your left hip flexor and underneath your hips. From here, we're gonna keep sliding the leg, keep sliding the leg, keep sliding the leg. See if you can slide onto the heel. And if this is as far as you go, you're gonna stay here and feel that support. Do you remember what we did in the pigeon, where we press down into the floor? Do that here. Press down into the floor, lift up, lift up. You're gonna feel it, you're gonna feel it, you're gonna feel it, that's good. And then release, relax. One more time. Press into the floor, press into the floor, press into the floor, press into the floor, and relax. See if you can reach the heel up a little bit further. And stop. We're gonna do this on the other side. So make your way out. Opposite knee now is on the floor, opposite foot forward. Now begin to come into that low lunge position, dropping the hips forward. And then begin to soften, maybe onto the little extra support. From here, you can back up a little bit and maybe start to straighten your front leg, or at least slide the heel away. If you feel yourself losing balance, take support, get your blocks, and this might help you slide a little bit more easily because you're pressing into the floor and you're taking the weight off of the legs, which really helps. So again, we're gonna press into both legs and the blocks for extra support. Press, 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 and then relax. Press, 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 and relax. One more time. Press into the back leg, press into the front leg, press up. See if you can take your hands off of the blocks because that requires a lot more strength, which you need. And then relax. Now, if this was quite challenging and you made it, good for you. Be proud of yourself. That was awesome. That was excellent. as you build strength, along with stretching and doing these poses, you're gonna have your splits in no time. But even more important than stretching is strength, because we won't get into the mechanics of stretching right now, but technically, your muscles can't lengthen any more than they already are. Why you need your muscles to be strong is because then the opposite muscle is able to support the lengthening muscle safely. So if your hamstrings are strong enough, they're going to be able to support the opening up of the hip flexor. If your hamstrings are not strong enough, that's when you feel that sensation like, I can't go further, right? This is my limit. That's because your hip flexors, or whichever muscle, doesn't have the support it needs to stretch any further. So what you want to do is strengthen your muscles. In strengthening your muscles, you will allow them to lengthen to their full capacity. All right, let's try these splits. Let's use the blocks and use our socks. Support yourself with the blocks. One leg's gonna go forward, one leg's gonna go back, and we're just gonna take it as low as we can today. So if it is here, stay here. If it's a little higher, that's okay, but just stay there, stay there. And each time you practice this, you might notice you can go a little bit deeper. Until before you know it, your hips are on the floor and you've got your Hanumanasana. And then don't forget to do it on the other side. One leg goes forward, the other goes back. Press the feet, especially the back leg and the front leg. Engage your muscles in the legs, and this gives you the ability to come into your split safely without injuries. I've heard so many stories of people who stretch every day and they end up injuring their hips. Please don't do that. Strengthen your muscles, and while you're strengthening your muscles, use this video to help stretch and open up the muscles that you need to prepare your body for a split. Happy practicing. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope to see you again.